Okay, I think we are live. Yeah, we're good to go. Oh, lots of people already in the chat. Welcome, everybody. We've got Conqueror, Enzo Kohlmeyer, Massey Ferguson, Andrew Gardner. Lots of familiar names here. AVO. And yes, Enzo Kohlmeyer. I'm glad you made this one. Joe Schnatz. Requesting the Guards of the Teeth and Servants of the Eye. Well, today, unfortunately, I am doing... if you're a Mordor fan, you will be disappointed, but today I'm doing the Dwarves, and the Dwarves have proven to be very, very popular. So today we're going to start off with... I've got several lined up for you, and you're going to be getting some previews that you probably wouldn't have seen before. Knight of Anumanas, welcome. Welcome to everybody. And straight away, so, hopefully the microphone volume is slightly better this time. I fiddled with some settings. Do let me know how it's sounding. And Zarn13 as well, another familiar name. Good to see you all. So today we're going to be starting off with... Who should we start off with? These guys. Okay, these guys are the Baruch Guard. And do forgive the poor quality of the screenshot, which is probably even worse with the YouTube compression on top of it. But this is a photo from Discord, so... But that's good, because that's a preview that you probably wouldn't have seen before. So, seeing it in this terrible quality means you don't fully get the full reveal. Look at that PC background. It's not my art, no, but it's a very cool piece, isn't it? Look at that. Love it. Balin saying, Rise of Mordor, you're more of a dwarf fan than I am. I am, to be honest, sorry, oh god, terrible list. Right, okay, so that's... Oh, well, I've got two of them. You can tell that I know what I'm doing here. Right, oh, okay, keeps shrinking, and there's another one of them again. Okay, right. We've got that there. Dwarven fan, I'm a fan of everything. I like, the dwarves are fun, and the elves are fun. The thing I find with them though is that they all tend to look kind of similar after you do them, once you do them again and again and again. Whereas if you do men, the men factions, the men faction are so diverse. There's so many different looks and aesthetics from them that it keeps it interesting. So I like those factions the best. But yes, here is the excellent work of Frusty on display. You've probably seen Frusty's marathons of streams where he does it for... He streams for a whacking 8 hours or something ridiculous like that. Which is very commendable. Very commendable indeed. Let's open. I'm going to open up where we're looking for a double-handed. Okay, this will do. Open with Photoshop. I don't know. So let's get that down a bit, so we can still see the picture. I know what it looks like, but I think it's nice for you to see it in front of you. So yes, for anyone who doesn't know what we're doing today, we are doing the Dwarven unit cards, some elite tier 4 units. And Thor Halting asking, have you any tips for making these unit cards? Tips for making the unit cards? Well, pixel art. This is essentially pixel art because it's such low resolution. And I don't know really. It's hard to, once you understand how to draw pixel art. It sort of works out, and you can do some really nice quality stuff. But otherwise, there's not really much to it. they're quite cartoony. It's not a realistic style. We're not trying to go for a super realistic style with these. And that's what's kind of quite nice about them. They're quite enjoyable. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to open the Erebor Crossbows armor. Where would that be? Erebor, where are you? God, tier 2. That's going to be that one. This one. Yes, there's the one. Although that's not really very helpful either. Clearly someone who's planned this through. Conqueror, will I work on the Mansion Reclaimers? Yes, that's the plan. That is indeed the plan. So I'm basically copying over this one for to get this same armour, because these Mansion Reclaimers here have the same armour as the Erebor tier 3, but you'll notice they have the sort of extended faceplate and scale armour on their legs. So let's. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use the lasso tool to select the helmet of the crossbowman. Why is that not working? There we go. And there we go, we've got the original helmet there. Although we don't want that. Yes, we do want that. And I'll get rid of want to get rid of these arms as well. Or rather, I think we're going to draw over them. This body will draw over here. What did you guys think of the last stream? I made a focus on being more tutorial-like, sort of explaining more what I was doing, so you guys can keep up with what, if you're not familiar with Photoshop. So what did you guys think of that? If you want to see more, explanation, do let me know, and I'd be happy to do that. What are we calling these guys? These are the Baruch Guard unit card. And the lasso tool here is basically just for selecting a specific area, and then you can manipulate the pixels within that area without affecting the stuff outside them. Joe Schnatz, the new horses look great. Thank you very much. Yeah, no, we thought those old horses that you all currently have right now they just look a bit. I mean, I was saying the style for unit cards is cartoony, but they just look a bit too cartoony. So I tried to make them look a bit more realistic. If you don't know what I'm talking about, they're new updated Elven unit cards mostly, which you'll find on our Trello, which is linked in the description below. To anyone new, of course, the people who watch this regularly will know I keep saying this. To anyone new, all our social media links are down below in the description, where you can find out more about the project on our Discord. You can also get the mod download in our description as well. And you can also find my own personal art accounts if you'd like to see more of my own work. Night of Anumas. The Mansion Reclaimers concept art looks majestic. I hope we get them soon. Well, your wish will be granted. Then it will be a nice stream like always. Yes, so I will do the Mansion Reclaimers either next or third if we get round to them. But yes, you will see me do Mansion Reclaimers live on stream. I'm just clearing things up because we've got this double axe, so that's. And the reason I'm tracing these cards is because the thing is, it's good to have them all looking the same. And if you're just tracing over a card, which is the beauty of Photoshop, then you don't need to worry at all about making things precise enough so that it looks the same. If you just trace over it, it'll always look the same, which is. And as you saw with the crossbows, I'm copying and pasting assets, drawing layers and things, just so things all look uniform. Zan 13. it was quite fun and interesting to watch. I personally liked it and learnt a lot. Okay, in reference to my art sort of tutorial style. So yeah, I think I will try and explain more, because it feels nice to share, I guess. Not that they're secrets or anything, but it's good to have you in the loop. I know that Mega Blue Iron and Frusty, they've done really good jobs in explaining as they go along. And of course, 3D modelling is far more complicated than what I'm doing, but it's really, really helpful. It keeps you, you sort of begin to understand how I'm doing things, and etc. etc. Anyway, Danny Alcantara, greetings to you, my friend. Jasper, explanations about what you're doing is quite interesting, so I appreciate it very much. Thank you. I will keep doing that. Thor Holting, there was just posted a video on Jackie Fishes where I got destroyed and my gameplay was called the biggest mistake ever. Oh, I saw that thumbnail earlier. Oh dear, that must sting a bit. Sorry to hear that. I'll watch that later and see how you did. Andrew Gardner, well, I wish I had time to watch the stream today, but I need to go to work. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. But I thought I'd stop by and give my regards. Thank you very much. I'm glad you stopped in even for a little bit. That's good to hear from you. Have fun at work, if you can. And balancing, and you will do units of the riders on horses or sheep to the gnomes. I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. Oh, dwarf. We're not doing dwarven goat riders, if that's what you mean. Oh, and our brushes, because of the really low resolution. Oh, and you don't want to make that full screen because then you can't see the picture. The brush is really big because obviously that on a normal canvas you'd have a really big canvas, like 7,000 pixels wide. But these unit cards are, I think you can see the dimensions just down there in the left corner, 64 pixels wide. So there's barely anything there to. So I have the brush on 1 pixel. Let me just catch up with the chat. Joe Schnatz, they have blue capes. They do have blue capes, yes. Stings a bit, yes, but at least I can watch your great content. Oh, thank you very much. I hope I can salve your wounds a little. But yes, something I forgot in my little brief tutorial last stream was the brush. I forgot to talk about the brush. And you'll notice I'm on a custom brush, but that's a really simple thing to do. I think this is the default, and that just means and we're on. Let's get that opacity up. That's just a flat, solid brush, and if I increase the size a bit, like that. Whereas the beauty of having a drawing pad means you can do pen pressure. So if you press really lightly, then you can get a really thin line, and if you press really hard, you can get a thick line, which is this one. And this is the one I use. So there I'm pressing really thinly, and then I'm increasing the pressure, and then it goes really fat, like that. Like so. You can see that there. And then, of course, you can go even further than that, which is, or the opposite of that is opacity. So if you press really lightly, it's slightly transparent, and then you press harder and harder and harder, and it becomes really opaque. And then you can go even further than that, of course. But I like to stick to this one here. But I have a custom brush size, which is just, you can fiddle with that to make this sort of weird, I don't know what shape that is, an oval. I don't know why I like it like that. It's just kind of saw it in a professional artist and in professional artist tutorial, so I thought it looked good. So yeah. The impressive Marcus Newman, hello there. The Dodgy Gob, I think this is the first live stream you've ever managed to catch. Well, it's good to have you. It's very good to have you. And yeah, 41 of you. That's really nice to have you all here. Let's crack on then. I've been talking a lot and not doing, so I'm gonna basically, we want this helmet. No, we don't. We want. Wow, gosh, I'm a bit of a mess, but we're gonna copy this side of the helmet like this. Of course, it's just Control C and the usual stuff to copy. Control V, and we're going to pop him like so. There. Now we're going to go over to our Spear Guards of Erebor, and we're going to copy the rest of the helmet, because of course these Baroque Guard also have the closed helmet, which the crossbows don't. So we're going to paste that as well. Get him in line, and there we go. Is that about right? That looks a little wide to me. No, that is right, like so. Then what I'm going to do is get the eraser, and I'm going to rub out. We need to put that to 1 pixel as well, where the axe is, although I'm not going to do that because the axe is different. This is not the axe that they're going to use. Knight of Anuminas. I thought that the blue colours would be for a long protected faction of Ered Luin. It's not even in the Trello page plans there. Well, they're in the private Trello. Ered Luin is perhaps the lowest. I mean, for you Dwarven fans, this must come as a blow, but the Ered Luin is, you know, one of our lowest priorities, just because their location on the map doesn't lend them well to campaign gameplay. So we, you know, of course, Frusty is very keen on getting them done, and we've had calls for Khazad-dûm as well to be included, but unfortunately we've decided, yeah, they're not priorities at the moment. And so Erebor will be your only Dwarven faction for the time, for the foreseeable future. But hopefully, it's a big roster and it's really varied. There's I'm just doing the chin piece here. Let's try and download that. Where would I put it? It would be. Oh, you're going to see a whole load of stuff that you're not meant to see. Actually, that might be a mistake. There we go. Okay. That, for any of you who are wondering, is our sneak peek channel. So you're not meant to see that, and hopefully you didn't see anything too spoilery. And that is, you gain access to that if either you win the bots games or you boost the server, which is about the only way you can financially support us. But then that's basically the place where we dump all our work in progress stuff. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Okay, so I'm just going to leave that open like that. And we can just periodically come back to... Well, why not? I just use the Discord thing. Okay, so I'll just leave the Discord open, and there you can see the axe that they're going to have. I think that's Gimli's axe, if I'm not mistaken. Gimli's double-handed axe. What are people saying? Massey Ferguson. I did see the dwarves with a crossbow and double-sided axe earlier. I'm not sure what you mean there. Enzo Colmar, yes, you managed to catch the stream. Yes, it's good to have you, Enzo. Enzo is a loyal fan of mine. I'm proud to say. And I saw that your comments on the last streams where you missed them, so I'm glad you made this one. Ered Luin versus the Remnants of Angmar DLC 2078. Very possibly, very possibly. Let me just check those details on the mouth. Okay, so the standard bit, and then there's a whole another bit down the bottom. Keep that open, and yeah. So basically it comes down like so. That's cool, that's very cool. I wouldn't advise this kind of working. This kind of working from reference, where you have a reference photo, and then you don't see it all the time, because you have the reference photo there, and then you have to get rid of it, and switch to Photoshop, and then you don't know what it looks like anymore. So I would advise against that, because it often leads to inaccurate representations of the drawings, which is, for this unit card, it's so small, doesn't matter. But for, if you're copying a concept, if you're modelling a concept in 3D, I wouldn't advise it, because it often leads to error. And Big Aurelius, good to have you. I love the unit card aesthetic. So do I. I really enjoy making them. They're I don't know, they're so simple. Just it makes, it's not a strain, I guess. It's not a creative strain. Sooner or later I'll be switching over to 3D modelling, architecture, because we're really stepping up our campaign efforts now. It's really exciting stuff, but there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Really we can see it all now. Of course, you've all seen Leo's incredible campaign streams, but there's just so much more going on behind the scenes, and we're really trying to step up the game. Of course, what we need to finish unit rosters, we need to do all the campaign strategy models, the battle maps, the custom architecture. So we need all hands on deck. So if any of you really want to help out, I learned Blender in a matter of months. Okay, and it's free. Blender's free. There's tutorials everywhere. Do help us, because the more hands we have, the faster we can get the campaign out. But yeah, like I said, I think I'm gonna move over to architecture and 3D modelling, while keeping up the 2D, of course. But there's not such a need of concepts anymore, because I have such a backlog now. And Albi Linda, for how long has this mod been available? This mod, it's been out for an incredibly long time. Works began on it 5 years ago, which is a very long time for a mod. But it is playable right now. It's been out for a while, if I'm not mistaken. But as I mentioned, there's no campaign yet. But that is, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, like I said. But Albi Linda, if you want to find out more, you can find our Discord in the description, and you can find the download link if you'd like to download it yourself. And Hi Auntie's here. Hello, Hi Auntie. Good to have you. It's a terrible example that I'm doing exactly what I said was bad, and using this as reference and then hiding it again. But I just really can't be bothered to download the image and then get it up. For something this small, like I said, it really doesn't matter. But when you're doing something bigger than that, I would advise against it. Okay, so we've got that kind of, actually no, it sort of comes in like that, doesn't it? Very cool. Simple yet so cool. It's added so much more depth to it. What's happening with that? There we go. Balin saying the dwarves have 3 factions: the dwarves of Erebor, Ered Luin, and the Oricani. So yes, we're not going to make a separate Oricani faction at the moment. We have 2 Oricani units planned for Erebor in the Erebor roster. Erebor's roster is a big one, and it has a whole load of other units. So dwarves from Khazad-dûm, from Gundabad, Ered Mithrin, and the Oricani Mountains, and the Arn Hills, of course, as well as loads of Erebor units. So it's a big roster, and lots of diversity. So I think hopefully that will entertain you Dwarven fans. But like I said, Ered Luin is such low priority at the moment for their campaign placement. So It's just the one for now. The Dodgy Gob. Any ideas of the elves of getting? Any ideas if the elves get more fleshed out roster, as they're your fave race, but not choice of units? Yes. Elves are on hold at the moment. The time of the elves is not right now. I mean, our elven modeler Manu is taking more time on sort of leadership and stuff like that, as far as I know. But there's lots of elves already. Unfortunately, not a focus at the moment. But all in good time, don't worry. Albi Linda, how many dwarven factions do you plan to make? At the moment, it's only one. And Ered Luin, perhaps if it's needed. Only Erebor and Ered Luin, yes, okay. And the chat is running away from me again. The Oricani are too far from the Middle-earth map as we know it. In the lore, yes, but we're actually adding them in. And well, actually, there's barely anything written about them by Tolkien himself. And this chin piece is causing me a bit of grief. It doesn't look very good as far as I... Oh well, that'll have to do. The Dodgy Gob. Ered Luin will not be included in the campaign for the foreseeable future. Yes. Well, I mean, it's basically the lowest priority faction, but if we need it, we will make it. Yeah. Brorefur. I was about to say, I recall watching the Oricani Axeman concept art stream. Yes, so that was the, I think that was Frusty modelling. Frusty's modelling concept art. Not modelling concept art, modelling the Oricani Axeman that you probably saw a few days ago, which is very cool. Conqueror, I'm still learning to work in Blender. In the near future, I'll be honoured to help. That'd be good to have you, man. Really good to have you. Not ever Numenas. Only Erebor for now. Ered Luin later. Yeah. Glad people are getting the hang of it. Let's get on with this. Sorry, I've been diverting my attention a lot to the chat. So now I'm just using the Erebor Tier 3 standard unit card, which is different. I've redone this one as well. I'm just going to use that for assets and just copy and paste bits and bobs. And in this case, I'm going to paste the hand, because this is slightly different. So there we go. We're going to rotate that round. And we're going to copy that again. Oh, no, we don't want to copy it. We're going to paste it again. That's what I meant. And we're going to flip like so. Oh, wrong layer. Wow, brilliant. That's the layer we want. To get that extra menu, I just tap one of these and then you get that up. So now we've got that horizontal. And we're going to rotate you round to that angle. And there we go, we got that, I think, that arm sorted as well. And we're going to basically, I'm going to grab all those layers by Shift and Control E to merge. And let me just catch up with what people are saying. Do you plan to make separate factions for them? Is that the Oricani or Ered Luin? Ered Luin has a separate faction planned, separate roster planned, yeah, but at the moment the only dwarven stuff you'll be getting is Erebor, like I said. Hi on C, I've seen your recent 3D assets and can't wait to see more in game. With your 2D experience, your textures will be superb. Oh, thank you very much. I'm very excited to start out on that. I've been practicing, and I mean, once you get the hang of it, it's not that tricky. It probably seems quite a lot to take in if you don't know what you're dealing with, which of course was what I felt. I had no idea I'd be doing 3D modelling 6 months ago. But I mean, you can't really learn from better people. These guys are, people like Victimize and stuff they know what they're talking about. So as well as, learning new skills, you get to work with people who are really, really skillful. Just hit the mic there, sorry. So I do recommend it, highly. Do you have any more men faction? Yeah, we have loads planned. Who do we have? Harad is planned, that you don't have in game right now. Anduin Vale, Arnor. Rohan isn't in game right now. Rohan is long anticipated. Work is steadily being done on Rohan. Hyant's models are excellent quality, let me tell you that. But unfortunately, that's the thing with modelling. The excellent quality requires a long time. So do wait patiently for it. That's the one drawback of modelling, is the time it takes. But it's worth it when it's such good quality. What's your favourite faction and why? The Dodgy Gob. Arnor, which is not in game yet. I've only actually done 2 or 3 of the concepts, but it's just such a cool faction. It's like Gondor but better. Although Hyant has persuaded me to like Rohan a lot. And I don't mind the elves and dwarves either. Manu's Woodland Realm models are excellent, and Premi's work on Dale. Wow. Really incredible stuff. How many elven factories? Unfortunately, we don't have any elven factories, or we'd have all the elves complete by now. All our elven factories, which are our singular elven factory, which is Manu, our project leader, is taking a break from elves at the moment. But elven factory he is indeed. Who are these certain dwarves you're working on? These guys are the Baruk Guard. Baruk is dwarven for axe. So these guys are double-handed axemen, which are I think they're the standard general bodyguard for Erebor. And as you can see, of course, they've got the iconic Erebor armour on. Let's get that nice rich brown for the beard. Why is that not working? The drawing pad sometimes bugs out and then I have to use the mouse like this to update it, and now it works again. There we go. So yes, these are the Baruk Guard for Erebor. Gosh, the chat is... apologies if I'm so far behind. I will get to your questions, don't you worry. All the plans are on the Trello page of Rise of Mordor, if someone was wondering. Yes, Night of Anuminas says, do check the description below where you'll find all our social media links and our Trello page where you can see all our planned rosters. And you can see all our unit cards and concept art. It's all there too. That's basically our unofficial, our official but not time scheduled roadmap. So do check that out. Matej, I hope I'm saying that right. Matej, welcome. Matthew Ferguson pointing out Dorwinion. Dorwinion is only in the submod, yes. Dorwinion is not a lore accurate faction, that's why we're not including it. It's not something we see in either the films or the books. And I think, as far as I know, it goes against the lore for there to be a thriving wine-making faction there. I know they say briefly in the books where that people from there made wine, but there's nothing to suggest there was an empire there. Albelinda, am I the only developer on the dwarves? Or is every developer working on the dwarves? I'm a concept artist, so I've done some of the drawings, and then another guy. Actually, the Dwarven roster has had many people working on it, much more than the others, I think. Like Rohan is only Hyant and myself and an old artist, but dwarves had both myself and Edred doing concepts, And then of course Frusty's our main modeler, but then also we had Executioner do some really cool high poly weapons, and Dane Ironfoot's helmet, for anyone excited about that. It's bugged out again. There we go. And then also Manu's helped out with some really cool cloth simulations, as far as I know. So Dwarves have had lots and lots of helpers on board. And that's also why they've progressed so quickly. Drac von Karstein, hello there. Hello there. Excellent work, Rise of Mordor. Your work means a lot to us. That is really good to hear, man. It means a lot to us to hear that from you. Your support is very much, I say this a lot of course, your support is very much appreciated, because that's the best thing you can give us, because we can't accept financial support, of course, because of the copyright issues. So your support is really good. Thank you very much. And I do apologise for anyone who's waiting patiently for me to get to their question. Do look out in the chat for anyone who answers it before me, because I'm minutes behind. Do you only make it, or do you actually play the actual game? I do play the game, yeah. It's really, I mean, I'm not a big gamer, but it's so good. It's so cool to see such a high quality game, in the Lord of the Rings settings. High quality as in our modelers have done such a good job pushing the quality right up. Jack Botha, you sound like the guy from the Third Age install guide. Well, hate to break it to you, that is not me, unfortunately. I don't think I've even seen that video. I'll check that out afterwards and I'll see. I'll have a look. If you're talking about the guy from Divide and Conquer, I don't think I sound anything like Arak here. We're both English, I guess. To anyone who isn't English, that would just sounding English alone will make us sound similar. But yes. Arco Stam, have you guys thought about adding dragons? Wow, okay, dragons. That like an event that happens and spawns a dragon. Good lord, that would be almost game-breakingly OP, in my opinion. But yes, of course, that has been considered, and I don't think we are going to, as well as the fact that would require an insane amount of extra work on animation and modelling and all that stuff that isn't, 100% needed, in my opinion. It would be very cool, and of course, but there is limitations with our engine. If we were on a Warhammer engine, that would be cool. That would allow us to do stuff like that really easily. Well, really, pretty easily. But then, unfortunately, it's illegal to make Warhammer mods that aren't Warhammer. Mods for Warhammer that aren't Warhammer. Giant Eagles, yeah, been considered as well, but I don't think we will get around to that either. Albie Linda, do I study talking lore or Lord of the Rings? I know a little bit about the lore, but I don't know a whole lot. I'm good at the Third Age, but I don't know Second Age or anything. Hi-on-T pointing out that Fuzzy H Dog. Yes, I forgot about that. Iron Hills armor. Yeah. He made the Iron Guard that you have in game right now, which are really cool looking. So yeah, that's a whole lot of developers working on a single faction, which I don't know. I kind of like it when one person works with one artist. One modeler works with one concept artist on a single faction, because then you get a really uniform. All the models look the same, and then all the style from that concept art all looks the same. So yeah, I kind of like that better than loads of people working on it. But of course, loads of people working on it means you get it out faster. So whichever one you prefer. To you fans, it's probably getting out faster, I imagine. Albelinda saying, yes, you do watch them. They are amazing. Oh gosh, I missed that. Night of a Numenas saying, 2 YouTubers play this game very often, Jackie Fish and Pope John Paul. Yes, do check them out. Do you know who Jackie Fish is? Do you guys know Jackie Fish? Yes, we do. He's a big YouTuber. And so I'm just going to go through a quick storm here and update the comments so I don't have to keep constantly lagging behind. Joe Schnatz, hi Auntie, would you say Rohan is halfway done? Rohan, I mean, we work is slow on Rohan, unfortunately. You know, like I said before, quality takes time, so that is a shame. You'll see when any news on Rohan comes out. So do keep your eyes peeled for that. But yes, so but Auntie is steadily working. Don't worry. Night of a Numenas, Albelinda, he was the one who told me. Favourite race, dwarves, elves, or men? They're all cool. Men have the most variation, so they're more interesting. So I like them the best. Pope Jean Paul is making faction overviews, and Dale is out. Yes, yeah, I saw that. Very good. One thing I think actually to one little point was that he blended quite often with, you know, he mentioned the submod and compared to it quite a lot, which of course for his channel is fine because lots of you do have the submod, which adds extra factions. But for, you know, if he was to do that for our official channel, we can't mention the submod because then, of course, that's not in our official release. But otherwise, it's a great video, yeah. 4.93k subscribers, yes. Watch out for 5k. We might just release something for you. And if any of you aren't subscribed, if we want to get to that 5k and see what's coming that way, sooner, do hit subscribe. And if you hit the bell, you'll get notified when we stream like this, and when we release something for 5k, if we do. So do keep your eyes peeled for that and hit the bell. And there are campaign overviews on this channel, Bender saying yes, so do check out our campaign overviews as well. There are sort of basic faction overviews by J Monster, which are really good. I do recommend checking them out as well. They have done very, very well. You know, up to 33,000 views, I think, is our Gondor one, and 25,000 on Mordor. So also do keep your eyes peeled for the next one of them on our channel. They are so much more successful than we thought they'd be. It's really good to see that much support for the mod. And I said I'd get through these comments. I still haven't got through these comments. It's great that you're talking so much. Zarn13, I wish Warhammer had more open modding. Yes, Shay, it's illegal, unfortunately. It's a shame because it's a good engine. I've never played, but I've heard lots of good stuff about it. The only Warhammer I've played is the Lord of the Rings Warhammer tabletop, which I highly recommend for anyone who is interested in that. Painting the figures is so fun. And Fingers McNippleson is here. Hello. How are you doing, Fingers? Albelinda, do we plan on to make another orc faction, if that's what you mean? What I'm missing? Yes, yeah, of course. We have Orcs of the Misty Mountains, or that we just call them goblins, I think, and also the Orcs of Gundabad. So they're two factions that you haven't seen any of. And our multi-talented machine, Haganaz, is working on the goblins, and Frusty will shortly be joining him after he's finished with the dwarves. So yeah, so do if you want to provide some support for them as well, they'd appreciate that a lot. I know that I asked Haganaz if he's going to stream, but he doesn't want to stream. So if you want to show him some love, do go over to the Discord, give him a message, say we love what you do, because that kind of motivation really, really keeps us going. Like I keep saying, I know I'm taking my time on this, by the way, but I just, I guess you're not really here to see me working in silence. You're here to see me speak to you and interact with you, which is preferable, I guess. But I will keep working, of course. But this of course isn't how fast I usually work, because usually I have like Netflix on or some music playing. So I just sort of have my full concentration diverted to this, whereas this, speaking to you guys is probably more important for this. So I'm not having to put too much attention in. That's why I'm taking so long, and I went on an incredibly long rant to explain that. But Brorafur, as an American, I can't really tell the difference between English accents. It's easy to differ Welsh, Scottish, Irish from English, but it's clueless to differences in English accents. Well, I mean, it's incredible how different English accents are. Because you can go down to Cornwall, down in the south of England, you have your farmer accent like this, like a pirate accent, yeah. And then, I mean, you can go up to Yorkshire, you have your Yorkshire accent like this. And I mean, you've got your Birmingham accent. Oh, that sounds like a South African accent, sorry. I can't do a Birmingham accent, a Brummie accent, but there's so much variation. And I've probably offended all our English audience who aren't from, the south like I am. And of course, yeah, Scottish, Welsh is difficult to discern actually, but Scottish and Irish are very recognisable. Yeah. Teutonic Knight, hello. What unit am I doing? We're doing the Baruch Guard unit card. What have they got on their chest plate? Nothing really at the bottom there. Got sort of patterning there, like so. And we're going to rub that out. We should reveal bottom shaft of the axe. There we go. There it is. The axe is very wonky, isn't it? Let's fix that. And what are you all saying? Again, I've just completely forget to neglect the chat. I do neglect the chat. I don't forget to neglect it. I do neglect it. Are you planning to make different biomes and weather? Yeah, we're looking into it. Yes. Attila's lighting can be incredibly annoying, right? What? Massey Ferguson, will Dol Guldur Orcs be in the Rise of Mordor official game? Dol Guldur is in the official game. The Orcs of Dol Guldur are made by Sloanis, who you probably saw yesterday doing his troll stream, his troll animation stream. But Sloanis did the Dol Guldur faction, so everything in game they are official. They're the guys we see in The Hobbit. Everything you see in the movies is going to be in the mod, and then some. We're adding some stuff, and the submod adds even more. BLK or Bic Sun TV, is Minas Tirith map going to be overworked for the campaign? You think it's a little small? That, my friend, is not an official map. That is a fan-made map, and our official Minas Tirith map will be excellent, I assure you. But at the moment we're struggling. We don't know how to make curved walls. I know that sounds like a small problem, but you can't get if you don't get the AI to work on it, then it's a problem. And it would just be immersion breaking if it doesn't look right. Don't worry. I mean, the textures on that pillar in the middle of rock are terrible on the fan-made one. We would do a excellent job. Don't worry. Minas Tirith map will be long anticipated, and it will hopefully satisfy your high demands. And yes, it was in a submod, yes. Albilinda. Well, we have battles inside different castles like Erebor, Les Gondor Mysteries. I am not sure what you meant by that, Albilinda. I think there was some auto correction there going on. I'm sorry for that. Owen Whitbread. Great work. What part of England am I from? I'm from a place called Hertfordshire, which is very close to London. It's about an hour out of London. Yeah. Massey Ferguson, what year in the Third Age will we start out at? I've got no idea, I'm afraid. I mean, it's sometime around the War of the Ring, I guess. But that is a question for Maestro, our lore master, and our campaign. He's basically the guy that's leading our campaign at the moment. He does all the planning. Everything you see on the faction overviews is sort of planned out by Maestro. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to get rid of this axe here. I know you can see these guys on the right of my screen which are holding this axe, but this guy's having a different axe. Mr. Derp, can I ask a question about the campaign? Go for it. Go for it. I'm not a master, but I can tell you the basics. If you have any really specific campaign stuff, do wait for Leo's streams. Which I think he did one recently. Right, okay, so this is the axe, and it's got let's just study this thing. Like I said before, this is not a good way of working with the picture like this and then getting rid of it. But I just can't be bothered to do anything now. Okay, so it's like, right. And Matej, will Mordor have the Grond battering ram as we saw in the movies? Don't know if you remember it. Don't know if I remember Grond. Of course I remember Grond. That's everyone's favourite battering ram ever. Grond is going to be in the game, yes. I think that's something we can definitely do. Custom siege equipment. Geert van der Woord. Geert. Hello everyone. Have a nice evening. It's good to see you, Geert. And yes, I hope everyone is having a nice evening, or nice day, or wherever you are. Hope you are having a nice time and you're all staying safe. And so Mr. Derp's question. Will there be an option to do things like Medieval 2 DAC and rebuild Osgiliath or turn Minas Morgul into Minas Ithil? I'm not sure, okay, but I'm sure there'll be some kind of scripts like that, yes. Because it is going to be set in the Third Age, so I assume that Osgiliath is going to be ruined. I don't know if there's I know there's limits in Medieval 2 with limiting the amount of upgrades you can do, but I'm not sure. I'm sorry. I did say you can ask the question, but I can't really give you a solid answer there. I did that wrong, didn't I? Right, we're going to do gold, and here I'm just selecting a random sort of golden colour here, and my pen's bugged out again. Why is that bugging out? This wasn't happening earlier. Oh well. Gold like so, and then there's two little smaller squares coming off each side. That goes down there, and there's two squares like this. This is exactly why I wouldn't recommend this kind of reference copying, because you can't, while you're actually drawing the thing, you can't see what your reference is. Although what I could do, yeah, let's do that. And it's really squashed, of course, but what am I doing? There we go. Now we can see the axe head. Terrible form. Albilinda, who is the lead developer? Well, we've got a few. We've got a few sort of big bosses. I'd say our lead developer, who does all the development stuff. Of course, that's what you're asking, isn't it? Is Manu. the Elven Lord. But then we have some other sort of big bosses. Elegy is our community manager, so he arranges and organises everything in the Discord, everything community based, as the name would suggest. And I realise I'm going to do this on a separate layer just to be safe. That's the little layer. You can't really see it very well, can you? Oh, it does the full screen thing. That little button there is a new layer button, so I'd highly recommend using that. Or you could do Control Shift N. Yeah, there we go. Control Shift N is a new layer as well. And sorry about lead developers and stuff. The third guy is Victimize, who's not a developer, but he's a retired modder, and he is basically oversees everything and checks everything's. He's not an official leader. Definitely a leader though. But Grillish, you can open it in browser. Yeah, I know I can. Of course I can, but I can't be bothered. No, this is fine. But this highlights how much easier it is to work from reference as opposed to copying, a picture and then getting rid of it. Matt Edge, cool, thanks for the answer. Yeah, no problem. Teutonic Knight, will you do the unit card for the Mansion Reclaims on stream? Yes, I will. I'm actually waiting for Frusty to get back from work so he can send me. I think he said he would send me the most recent screenshots of it, so you'll get to see that hopefully if we decide to do that. If not, I can do the Oricani Hammerman in the stream. And as mentioned before, you're not seeing me change these tools here because I'm using the keyboard shortcuts. So if you are keen on learning Photoshop, I would recommend definitely learning the keyboard shortcuts because they just save you so much time. Joachim, how many units can a faction have? I don't know the answer to that. But I mean, looking at the Erebor, what is it? The Erebor and Gondor have incredibly large factions. Incredibly large roster. So I mean, I guess there's no limit to that. I definitely is a limit to how many units you can have in the game in total, but probably not in terms of factions. If you want, you could make a faction be able to train every single unit in the game, I guess. But there is definitely a hard-coded limit to how many factions you can have. How many factions and how many units you can have, yeah. Bender, depends how much you want to balance the game, yeah. You can do many units, but it must be balanced, yeah, of course. Oh, of course. No, you wouldn't do anything that breaks the game. That's why each faction, each roster has its strengths, each roster has its weaknesses. That's partially why we're not adding goat cavalry for the dwarves. Because as law-breaking as it is, the real reason that it's bad is because it would just make them too powerful. They just win everything. If they have good, elite cavalry, that just means they are perfect in every single way. Albelinda, do I like elves or dwarves? I like both of them. I've done a lot of work with Frusty on the dwarves, and I've worked with Manu on the elves. They're good fun. They're, it's. But as I was saying earlier, it does get a little bit repetitive after a while because, while they are all very cool, they have quite similar, aesthetics, and dwarves obviously have that really rigid construction kind of angular style, whereas elves have that flowing, majestic. Thinking of words now, that beautiful, majestic, winding, flowing style. And that's cool, really cool, but it does get repetitive. That's what I'm trying to say there. Teutonic Knight saying, yay, at least one unit from Khazad-dûm. Yes, yeah, you are doing as much as I know Geert is a lifetime what's it called, a campaigner to get Khazad-dûm as a faction in game, but at the moment, as it stands, we're only having one unit from Khazad-dûm. Just because in the films, or during the War of the Ring, there was no one in Khazad-dûm. A load of skeletons. That's all that there was. Right, I've got the hang of this axe now. I'm just getting a bit fed up with the screen being this. Oh, what am I doing? That goes in there like that. There we go. Let's just full screen that. Although no, let's not do that. God, it looks terribly unprofessional here. Sorry. Right there, it's good to have that reference image next to me there. Ragnarok IV, good to see you, man. Good evening, great work, master. It's good to see you too. Begrillius, you can limit the goat cav number like the mechanic they have Heroes in Sparta in Rome 2. Well, I mean, okay, so I mean, we would, if they were added, of course they'd be limited, but also it is a law. It is a break from the law, as well as balancing being the primary reason. There is a secondary reason in that they are egregious law break. It's an egregious law break in that dwarves never did ride. It specifically stated that dwarves didn't like riding, and especially didn't like riding to war. You know, they always. I mean, Gimli even says it in the films. That they don't like riding, and he prefers to fight on his own 2 feet. Casual productions. Well, of course, if you gave the dwarves goat cavalry, you could balance it by making them slower. Yeah, I guess so. You can make the dwarven infantry run really, really slowly, and the goat riders can be slower. But I mean, they have such good armour, so it doesn't really matter. They could run really slowly, and they could, withstand volley after volley of elven arrows. So it still would make them quite powerful. Maestro is our balancing guy. If he says so, then he knows what he's talking about. But any suggestions you have, do head over to the Discord and voice your opinions. Because it's good to hear. I mean, goat cavalry won't be added though. Don't voice that because people get annoyed at that. Knight of Numinas saying that yes, there's no need to give them goat cav because they would be too OP. Yes. Bender saying you can't give to one of the best infantry factions cav. Yeah. Even having the merchant escort, which is a tier 2 cavalry, that just having a couple of units of them on the battlefield is overpowered anyway. For a campaign perspective, it's good to have at least one cavalry to run down prisoners and stuff. But having, it would just make them unstoppable. There needs to be some challenge in the campaign after all. Teutonic Knight saying, where can I support the fellow Khazad-dûm supporter? And that's Geert. He might be watching. Geert might still be watching. But yeah, Geert, looks like you've got another one to join your cause. Gonzalo Benedicto. Actually, dwarves are natural sprinters. That is a very good point. Yeah. Can boost from Steam. The dwarves... Oh, no, I missed someone. Thor halting hobbits on ponies would be cool. Again, I don't think... I mean, well, we only got 2 hobbit units, and one's for Arnor, one's for the Anduin Vale. And they're both archers, so they're not, unfortunately, not going to be any pony riding maniac hobbits, but it would be cool, yeah. Caboose from Steam saying the dwarves don't need their own cavalry. Lore-wise, they didn't have cav aside from Dale mercenaries. Yes, exactly. They took a lot of stuff like cavalry, stuff like fresh vegetables and stuff, food. They took it all from trade, not making it in their own. Enzo Colmeyer saying, I'm not sure if you can answer this, or if it has been answered, but the Erebor Axe Warriors are melee. not Axe Infantry. A bit nitpicky, but some animations don't look right. Is that the tier 3 guys? Oh, it must be. I'm not sure. Enzo, do head over to Discord and suggest that, because that's something that unfortunately I can't do anything about. But do let the guys that do know what they're talking about. I think Wizlet Man. Do let Wizlet Man know that issue, because that would be good to fix. Yeah, agreed. There was Caboose from Steam. There was Goat Cav in a mod for Medieval 2. Was an extremely OP army. Yeah, is that Divide and Conquer? Oh no, Divide and Conquer doesn't have Goat, right? Arachir is not a. Arachir definitely wouldn't add that. Sorry, I don't know. Must be Third Age Reforged then, because Arachir would never do that, because that's such an egregious law break. And I forgot to check. Is that kind of gold on the? It is kind of gold. Bronze coated blades, which is very odd, but fair enough, let's do that. And gosh, sorry, I'm losing the chat again. Gosh. And yeah, lots of people agreeing that Dwarven factions don't need cavalry. Michael Jindra, hello. Knight of Anuminas saying the axe looks amazing, by the way. Thank you, Knight of Anuminas. I'll call you Knight. Casual Productions, Goat Cav or not, I personally believe the dwarves should be slower. Since they are wearing so much armour, they have such short legs. Yeah, good point. Do suggest that as well. Head over to the Discord. Wizlet Man is our database editor, so he's in charge of all that kind of nonsense. Not nonsense, but I just refer to that casually. So do let him know. Hopefully that axe looks alright. Yeah, I think as far as I can tell, that is accurate. Yep. What are people saying? Again, Gonzalo Benedicto, hello. Oh, Preben van der Straten. So Preben. Good evening to you as well. Good evening. MB, hello. Welcome everybody new. 55 of you. To anyone who is new to Rise of Mordor, of course, our social media links are in the description below, along with my own social media, my art accounts on Instagram. So do check that out if you want to see more of my art. Do check out our official social media to see our recent previews, announcements, competitions, all that kind of good stuff. And you can become more active in the community. That'd be awesome stuff. Begrillis, did dwarves cause inflation in Middle Earth lore-wise? I don't know. I don't think you can cause inflation if you keep all the gold and then no one else has it. That just makes you very, very rich, which is what happened, I think. Caboose from Steam. I don't remember how slow they are currently, but they are already slower. Yeah, I think they are already slower. I assume they'll be slower on the campaign map. Yeah, true. It wasn't DAC, it was Third Age Reforged. Third Age Reforged, yeah. Interesting mod. Perhaps I haven't watched it in a while. I haven't seen anyone doing battles in a while, but it felt a little bit, fantasy. Yes, that sounds stupid, but it felt a bit like Warhammer as opposed to Lord of the Rings. I don't know if you know what I mean there, but like I saw some guys with these massive swords, which just look so stupid. Maybe that's just me, maybe. But carrying a sword the size of a small tree around with you. just the historical side of me there just face palms incredibly heavily. Because as much as I like Lord of the Rings, I like keeping things in the realms of practicality. I don't know why I always thought it was a boar, because I joined here and I see everyone calling it a goat. Feels weird. Well, no, as I'm 13, in the theatrical release of The Hobbit, you can see it's Dane Ironfoot is riding on a goat. Yes, on a boar. Sorry, so he's riding on a boar. But then in the extended edition, you see the Dwarven infantry riding goats. I'm surprised you haven't seen the extended edition clips. I mean, in my opinion, it's all a bit silly, you know, with the elven arrow volleys and those weird dwarven ballista machines. But that's where the goat riders come from. So they're not technically, they're in the films, but they're in the extended edition. Teutonic Knight. It looked kind of weird when a dwarf stabs an orc in the stomach with an axe. Yeah, true. MB, while I have to agree with you about the lore stuff with dwarves, cav and chariots, you have to admit they sure look super dope. They look super dope. Yeah, they do. They do look pretty cool. I mean, of course, having a mounted, from a historical point of view, having a mounted part of your army makes complete sense. And having dwarves, heavily armoured dwarves, you know, if it wasn't a game and we didn't have to balance things, and there wasn't an established lore, I'd say that having goats, riding goats, I guess it sounds stupid, but it'd be cool, it'd be practical. In that having these heavily armoured dwarves on armoured goats is just basically unstoppable. Joseph Maloney, are these guys? These the guys we see guarding Thrall in the prologue? Yes, they are. Very observant of you there, Joseph. They've got blue cloaks. Let's just do the cloak now. I do forget to do that. Right. A beautiful cloth simulation from Frusty here. And by the way, as you can see, this is our sneak peek channel, which you can only access by winning a competition or boosting the server. So that's where we dump all our work in progress shots like these. If you want to do that, do consider that. And I've forgotten the chat. Let me blast through it again. Enzo Kohlmeyer, I'll let them know. Yeah, good job. Great job with the unit card. I missed the first 25 minutes. My sincerest apologies if you've answered this, but will we be blessed by a second card this stream? Hopefully, that's the hope. 45 minutes left on the stream. I will have a go at the what are they called? Barrack Guard. No, not Barrack Guard. We're doing them now. Mansion Reclaimers. The Moria Khazad-dûm AOR unit. Carlos, are you using a tablet or a Cintiq? I'm not sure what you mean by Cintiq. I'm using a tablet. Yes, it's fairly cheap, affordable one. Cost me about £50, £50, and it served me for must be 3 or 4 years now. So it's not unaffordable. It's certainly something that if you're into art, you definitely need one of these. I mean, I could try drawing with a mouse for you right now, but this is me drawing with a mouse, and as you can see how slow I am to get that kind of precision. And maybe this is just because I'm completely unpracticed, but that's just taking so long. Whereas with a tablet, I'm just, it's so much easier. Of course, when you first get the tablet, it's quite kind of confusing because, you're drawing on your lap, whereas you're looking up at the screen. So that kind of lack in visual coordination is confusing. But once you get used to it, very, very easy. Bagrillia is saying, will they get chariots, goat chariots? Again, they're not planned. Again, just for the reasons that it would make them incredibly, overpowered. Despite the sense it makes from a practical point of view. Balancing always comes first. Balancing always comes first. The ballista machines were interesting to see, since it might have been shown to try and flex the dwarves' mechanical intelligence. And the way they took out the arrows was also smart. Yes, yeah, it was cool. But it just didn't feel like Lord of the Rings. I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but I mean, yeah, dwarves are technologically superior, I guess you could say. You know, we illustrate that by giving them crossbows. No one else has them crossbows except for, you know, Isengard, of course, is also a technologically advanced faction. So I believe they're the only two factions with crossbows, just to illustrate that in a smaller way. And actually the dwarven ballistae they are planned, so that at least is going to be incorporated in the mod. They won't shoot the projectiles in the way you see them in the films, but they'll just be normal ballistae. But they will be in the mod. Don't worry. Teutonic Knight. Finally, two-handed axe infantry opposed to hammer ones. Yes, there's a lot of hammer infantry, isn't there? Actually, in the Erebor roster. But yeah, Baruch Guard. Baruch means axe, so it would just be nonsense to give them a weapon that isn't an axe. These are these guys here are the tier 2 axes. They're double-handed axes as well. So yeah, you haven't got those units yet either, but all coming in the next update. And I'm going to speed through this now, just so we can get on to the next card. Am I missing it? Yes, I am missing stuff. We're missing let me just zoom out to check that's all okay. Yeah, okay, I guess that's okay. That sort of stands out, but I'm going to... I don't like zooming in to the point where you can see these pixel lines, because that often distorts your perception of the colour a bit. Casual Productions. Everyone is talking about the Goat Riders, but we forgot that in the same movie there were Pacific Rim-sized rock giants and worms that could eat through rock. J.J. Abrams-esque lore breaking The Hobbit. Well, yeah, weirworms in Tolkien's writings were just dragons. A worm is another word for a dragon, not a worm, like not an earthworm. So that was weird and stupid, yeah. And the rock giants are in the book, but they're not made of stone. Although it's not actually specified what they're made of, actually, in the book. It just says they are giant figures, giant sort of human-esque figures that throw stones at each other. But they're in the book, which is, you know, we never hear anything about them other than that. But yeah. Matej, does somebody from your modding team work on the Total War Attila Northern Kingdoms mod, the Witcher mod? I don't know, to be honest. I'm not sure. I haven't heard of that, of anyone talking about that. But maybe, I don't know. Enzo Colmar, great to hear we will possibly see the Mansion Reclaimers here. I can't wait to see how you approach the Mithril's white collar. It'll look great. Well, actually, something about the Mansion Reclaimers is that I know in the concept, and that, you know, up to the modelling, they were planned to be Mithril plates, but Fruity had a lot of trouble with the texturing, getting that beautiful Mithril look. So actually, we've decided to give them iron or steel plates, and they still have Mithril, but that's all the only Mithril they're wearing is the chainmail, the mail, what's it called, hauberk underneath. Hopefully that's not too disappointing, but well, I mean, I guess it is incredibly expensive stuff. So, you know, having full plate Mithril is just, that is, I don't know if Bilbo's tiny little kid's shirt is worth half the Shire. Then a full plate of mithril armor. I don't know that would be half of Middle Earth, I guess. Teutonic Knight saying you love my work, by the way. Thank you very much, Teutonic Knight. It means a lot to hear that. It truly does. Albie Linda, do you have Luminor? By that I think you mean Numenor. And if you mean Numenor, the answer is no, because that's a Second Age faction. That's long destroyed by the time that we have our mod set. However, we do have Arnor, the Reforged Realm of Arnor. And they sort of use the aesthetic of Numenor, of the guys we see in the Last Alliance prologue scene. And so yeah, any questions, any stuff you want to find out about the rosters, as I've said before, our Trello page is linked in the description below, so you can find out all you need to know about our factions there. And not even anyone else correctly pointing out that the scale armour is missing on the thighs. Yes, that is exactly what I was planning on doing just before I finish off the cloak. Let's quickly add that in. Nothing too fancy, just a few little white dots here and there to illustrate that. And of course there's some on the arms, as we can see here. And again, you can't really... Oh, the thing's bugged out again. There we go. You can't really see the scale on the arms. Let's just double check that though. Oh no, you can. It sort of comes quite far down. Oh, actually no, it takes the entire... On the other armour there's a sort of... This whole bit is plate, but this one actually replaces it with scale. Okay, good to know, good to know. Samuel B. They were trying to come up with more content in The Hobbit since they only had one book for reference instead of 3. Yes, of course, yeah. But yeah, tried to create a trilogy. Yeah, I think it's a shame. But you know, there's way that I don't know. I think there was definitely ways they could have done that well. I don't think that was, I don't think that was... Well, partially, of course, it was partially to blame. Studio pressure, saying we want more money from this. But I don't know. I think they could have. Nothing. I mean, Legolas being in it, I quite like that actually. Perhaps he had a bit too large a role, but they developed. They developed the Lake Town stuff. I quite enjoyed Lake Town, and the first film was okay, to be honest. Adding in the Dol Guldur stuff, that was really good, in my opinion, because that isn't made up. That was genuinely happening. That's not something we see in the Hobbit book, but in Lord of the Rings, in the lore, we know that did happen. So that was really good to see Gandalf and the White Council finding out about Sauron. But Azog being alive, that was a big lore break. Azog did die when he got his hand cut off. But Bolg, I don't know why they didn't just replace Azog with Bolg. I don't know, because Bolg is in the book, but I don't know why. Yeah, it was good to see more fleshed out Woodland Realm. But they of course agreed that the Tauriel stuff was silly. That just has a Hollywood movie written all over it. Kern, geez, that looks amazing. Thank you very much, Kern. Teutonic Knight, nice to see some colour difference in one unit. Yes, indeed. I'm all about colour difference. I love that. I love seeing that kind of stuff. Let's give him a nice royal blue. Tristan Ladderwig. Will there be historic battles like in Normal Attila? Yes, there will. Not currently, but I think I heard Maestro discussing it, so that means yes. I think we're just waiting for more fleshed out rosters. Once we have recognisable battle maps like, the Erebor / Dale battle map that's coming out soon. That could well provide enough content for, and then of course we've got the fleshed out dwarves. We've got Mirkwood. that could definitely provide a really good battle of the five armies. So, you know, stuff like that, you might see that soon. I don't know, though. That's not me saying you will. That's me just genuinely saying I don't know. Massey Ferguson, by the way, if Legolas had a sniper rifle, the Third Age would have ended dramatically quicker. Agreed. Or if Legolas had, you know, if I don't know if, I assume you're referring to the Berserker there. If he just shot him in the face, if he shot him through the eye, he couldn't have possibly. But then, I mean, there was so many Uruk-hai, there's no way that you could stop that torch from reaching the bomb. No way at all. So I don't know. Legolas being an idiot and not shooting. You saw in that same battle, you saw Legolas shoot a string on the ladder that was coming up to the walls. He shot it. There was a cord on it. He shot it, and it caused the ladder to fall down. That was insane accuracy, and then yet he couldn't hit the Uruk-hai in the eye. Joachim saying, is it lore unfriendly to have a dark elf character in Rise of Mordor? Well, we do know that there are dark elves in Ravanion called Moriquendi. You know, Mor being, you know, Mordor, the Dark Land, Moriquendi, dark elf. That's some nerdy elvish for you right there. So they did exist, and they may well be in the mod. Yeah, something that's really exciting is we can, with a larger map, we can flesh out the east and the south. So Harad is going to be much more expanded, and Rune is going to be filled with, you know, Oricani and the Moriquendi, and of course the Easterlings. So yeah, there's plenty to be expected. Right, okay, so these guys, I'm going to call that a day for these guys. Lovely work. Sauron was the Dark Elf. Sauron was not an elf. Sauron was a Maiar. And right, we're going to get up the Mansion Reclaimers, where, you know, I'm just going to use the concept for them. Right, I actually need to go to the toilet, so I'm going to take a really quick break, and how do I mute this thing? Do I just... I assume you can't hear. If I turn it off, I assume you can't hear anything. Let me just catch up with the chat. Hang on, before I go off for a second. Git asking which unit is it? It's the Baruk Guard kit, which is our standard general unit. Okay, so yeah, I'll be back in 2 minutes. Apologies for that. Hopefully you can hear me now. Hopefully I am back, and hopefully we're still all good. 65 of you watching. Wow, that's it's great to have so many people here. Right, let's get up these Mansion Reclaimers. Let's get on with this. I've got half an hour left. Let's bang these out quickly. Ron Stephen 2222. Will there be any flying units and Belrog? I'm not sure about the Belrog. Maybe a Balrog, but not a Belrog. The Balrog, unfortunately, I don't know about that, but that is not a priority. Just because that's a single unit. I'm not sure if we can do single units. I don't know, to be honest. But that would be very, very further down the line. And flying units as well, next to impossible. But I mean, we don't want to say no to that, but I think we're kind of saying no to that, if that makes sense. Just because of the amount of work it would take. Teutonic Knight saying, sorry for repeating it on every stream, but Song of Durin starts playing. Man, that's such a good... anyone who doesn't know Clamavide Profundis, just have a look at their music. It's just incredible. Really, really love it. Absolutely love it. And okay, what we're going to do on this one, we are basically going to... Might as well use this exact thing, and let's just make a new layer. Control-Shift-N to make a new layer. And we're going to just trace over these guys. MB, I think that flying units will be impossible to make since there's no flying units in the original game. Yeah, so something like the Warhammer engine really helps. That would be really cool to work with that, because obviously that allows you to do magic and flying units and stuff like that. But unfortunately that's illegal. So we're stuck with standard Total War, which I guess you could do some janky kind of thing where they're standing on the ground and then they have a custom animation where they sort of swoop up and jump down and grab you in your claws and things like that. But I don't know if that would really look any good, and it would just take a huge amount of work, and there's a risk it would fail. So I don't know. Right. Well, also what I've realised we need to find the previews. This is the weapons, so I'll keep them up here. And so this is by Edred, our other concept artist. We won't need them right now though. All we need is this concept here. Albie Linda asking, is that the king of the dwarves? These guys are the mansion reclaimers, so they are the guys you get as a reward for taking back Moria. So they are not the king of the dwarves, but they are a very, very elite unit. They've got full mithril, okay, but unfortunately we decided against that because that would be too overpowered. So as of now, only the mail they have under here is mithril. This is all steel, standard steel plate, but still they look very cool. I think you'd all agree that. So let's give them. It's quite blue here because I thought it was mithril. Right, let's crack on quickly. I'm going to input that, and I'm going to put in 3 pixels there. Teutonic Knight saying, sorry for asking, but do you know what weapon these boys will have? Yeah, I just showed it here. These guys are... they're made by Edred. A sort of a really cool collaborative concept. So yes, these are the weapons for the Mansion Reclaimers. Bugrillius, the axe head looks like it's prone to breakage. I guess so. I don't know why. I quite like it, to be honest. It's a really, it's a stylish axe. It looks very dwarvish, in my opinion, and it may be sacrificing a little bit of practicality for looking really good, which I'm not complaining about. With elves and dwarves, I tend to think, it's okay if they look slightly unrealistic because they're not real. With the men factions, making things look more realistic is more important for me. But to be honest, yeah, if a dwarf has a little bit of a, the 2 Mordens, for example, have a shield and a halberd, and if you know anything about historical stuff, you can't use a shield and a halberd at the same time. But I'm just saying dwarves can because they can. That end of. Whereas if it was a men faction, I'd say that that's quite unrealistic and stupid. Okay, so I'm going over I'm using the Axe Warriors of Erebor here as a base. I'm just going over all really roughly with a slightly bigger brush now, just to get block in that basic detail, and it's all in that sort of in a base colour. Actually, what I'm going to do, that's what we have at the moment, so I'm just going to copy this layer, paste that, hide one of them, and now we're going to combine these two like so. Oh no, we're not going to combine them. But basically these are the hidden ones, these are the ones I want to keep, these ones I can rub out and stuff like that. Right, missing out in the chat again. Not even Numinous, the fancy Mithril boys. Yeah, I thought they are indeed fancy Mithril boys. Begrillius, could they have steel plates over Mithril mail in the early plate implementations like Charberg armour? I mean, these guys have steel plates over Mithril armour, as you suggest, or over Mithril mail. So as you suggest, exactly how you suggested there. Will there be heroes the player will be able to recruit? Not like in Troy, but custom generals. Yes, custom generals, but not. I mean, heroes maybe in the future, but we don't know. Not now. Thor Halting, does he have a shield? Yes, these are his weapons here. MB, I thought it was even mentioned that Mithril is very light and strong, so it's pointless to make full armour from it. Just chainmails, plus it was limited resource. Yeah, good point. That's another good point, actually. Why would you make full Mithril armour if nothing can get through mail anyway? That's true. To be fair, Mithril plate would still be susceptible to impact blows. Well, yeah, if you get hit on the head by a, I mean, like a, whoops. You know, a knight in full armor is basically unstoppable. If you have a sword or something. But you know, if you hit them on the head with a warhammer or a poleaxe or something, it's not going to go through their helmet, but it is going to make their head ring like hell. Getting hit on the head with an impact blow like that is just going to completely disorient you. You know, it's not going to hurt you or anything, but it's going to confuse you so much, and in that time you can get out a knife and stab them through the helmet or something. So yeah, good point about that, Joseph. Enzo Kohlmeyer. Yeah, goblins, but there isn't much difference between the two except for the looks, as the goblins are essentially orcs who have evolved to live in the dark depths, I believe. That's someone else's... Who is inside Moria? That's in response to that. Goblins or orcs. In Tolkien's writings, goblins and orcs are synonymous. They're the same thing. He calls them goblins in The Hobbit. He calls them orcs in the Lord of the Rings. Don't know why he changed, but they are the same thing. The movies took it the other way, and they thought they're different things. But what we're doing in the mod is the tier 1, the really rubbish units, are going to be the guys we see under the mountain, under the Misty Mountains, the really shitty goblins. And then the tier 2 and upwards and stuff will be the guys we see in Moria. Those more elite looking, I wouldn't say elite, but they look less terrible. They have some kind of armour at least. BLK Sun TV, is Mithril going to be white in the game? It's going to be very bright, yes. Begrillius, I would say dwarves could use halberds with shields, since the halberd is in Attila Act is pretty much like a pike phalanx. So you can carry a small shield. Well, it's not a small shield, is my point. Yeah, if you had a small shield, you can have a small shield on your hand, but what they're called, two Mordens don't have a small shield, they have a massive shield. Or it's a shield similar to this, which is, of course, impossible for a human to lift. A human to, use both of them at the same time, is what I mean. Teuton Knight's saying these guys will be super elite. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And I doubt we'll be able to finish these guys today, but I will probably save them for another stream next week. If you guys are truly desperate to see them, I might do a stream at the weekend if there's no one else doing one, where we can finish these guys. And right, let's just get in that golden detail. Actually, no, let's finish with the. I clearly know what I'm doing, don't I? Gosh. Night of Illuminats. Enzo is right. Tolkien almost makes no difference, and Peter Jackson's movies made it more diverse. Yes, exactly. Ron Stephen 222. What type of polearm will the dwarven factions have? Dwarven factions have a polearm in terms. They have halberds and pikes, I guess. There's not much. We don't see many anything else really in the films. I know our Prince's Coast Guard for Dol Amroth are for in Gondor. In the Gondor roster have a poleaxe, which is cool to see. Great weapon, love that weapon. But that's, I think, it in terms of polearms. We see glaives in the Easterling roster. And someone with their name in Hebrew, I'm sorry I can't read that. But I'm pretty sure pointy weapons like spears can penetrate mail armour with a heavy enough strike. Yes, I guess so. I mean, arrows can penetrate mail quite easily. It's basically with a tapered point. It means you can get in between the ring and sort of split it. Good quality mail isn't butted; it's riveted. So each ring has basically a little bolt in it that holds it together, which makes it even stronger. And that's the historical stuff. The cheap stuff we see, replica stuff and stuff in films, never has that. But the historical stuff is riveted mail, which is really strong. So spears might stand a chance, but swords really can't get through mail. There's very little that it could do, unless you half sword, where you grab the sword by the blade. You could push it in there with enough force to split a ring, but again, I doubt it. Let's keep going. These guys won't have. I didn't draw a beard on these guys actually in the concept, but that is. And we're going to give them a small beard because it's nice detail here. We didn't want to get rid of that. He looks a bit weird with a fake beard with this ornamental beard and then another beard underneath. So we decided to give him a small sort of braid. Breaking it, and the mouse pen has bugged out again, which is great. There we go, fixed that. Okay, so we've got everything mainly in terms of the grey stuff. We've got that blocked out. Like so. And let's get some of that gold detail in. It's a really nice kind of it's a quite mellow gold in my opinion. I quite like this kind of. It's not too polished and shiny, it's just a soft gold. Also a sword is not that useless against full plate knight. Hitting with the blade is useless, but if you can use the pommel as a blunt weapon for stun and half sword in between the plates. Yes, exactly what I was saying there. Yeah, against full armour, a full plate you are screwed if you have a sword. Really, you wouldn't stand a chance. I mean, there are techniques like that guy in the chat. Sorry, if you could say your name in English, that'd be really good. Apologies, I can't read Hebrew. But yes, so if there is extended techniques for fighting against armor, but if you don't have armor yourself, I mean that you are at such a disadvantage. I could talk about this all day. You can use the pommel, which is the ball at the end of the handle, as a sort of bludgeoning weapon, which is, I guess that would be effective. Still wouldn't go through the armour, but it would just cause like blunt trauma force, That's why weapons like poleaxes and warhammers came into use more, and swords were less and less important. Swords were mainly a side weapon, really. Right, let's take it back down to 1 pixel because this detail is shocking. Not a fan of how this is going. silent concentration working. Zan 13, looking at that armour makes me think of silver. Is that the concept or the what I have here? I guess it's fairly similar to silver, actually, Mithril, in terms of what we see in the films. I know I drew it here blue, but it's not. In the films we see it, it's kind of like a really bright aluminium almost, or I don't know, a zinc. I'm not sure, I'm not an expert on metals. But it doesn't look like steel, it looks much, much whiter. Begridius, or the crossguard, is also good for percussive attacks. Yeah, there's a strike where you turn the sword around and you hold the blade completely, and you use the crossguard as a kind of hammer, which that might well go through armor, because that is a huge, like that's a leverage, you know, going on to the end of that swing. So yeah, that might work, but then that puts you at a massive disadvantage still. And if you have to use the hammer, if you have to use the end of the pommel, that means you're coming in really, really close to the opponent. It means you're coming right up to him, and in that time he could have sliced you open. If you have armour on yourself, it's different, but if you don't have any armour on, well, I don't know what you'd do. That's the best thing you could do if you have no armour on, is get 5 of your friends and jump on him. If you all jump on him, maybe one of you will die, but then you'll get him on the ground and you can get your knives out and stab him. A bit of a morbid stream, sorry if I'm casting this shadow of death on everyone. Your name is Oded, good to know. A discussion about Moria, I'm not sure. And Oded saying, if you can cave in or make a dent in the helmet, you can force the knight to take it off. Yeah, that's true. If you can deform the armour enough, then he'll have to take it off. Or even if he doesn't take it off, he'll be at a massive disadvantage. Whereas then you can use that to take advantage of him, yeah. Dodgy Kingdom. What is my favourite Gondorian fief? Good question. It's got to be Dol Amroth. Dol Amroth is... I don't know. They're not really fleshed out a huge amount in the books. All we know about, Pinath Gelin is they wear green. At Lasarnak, they have Axeman, which is cool. And I mean, if you count Arnorian as a fief, which is where Minas Tirith is, the main fief, I guess you can say, then they look really cool. The standard Gondorian guys just look cool, but Dol Amroth, we don't see any in the films, unfortunately. But the fan interpretations of Dol Amroth are really cool. I love them. What are your guys' favourite Gondorian fiefs? Michael McGee. Mithril silver looks like silver in the book. Mithril looks like silver in the book, sorry, because it's referred to as pure silver in the books. Yeah, true. I guess the translation of it is... Whoops. Oh, we're on the razor, aren't we? There we go. Silver steel, I think it's referred to. Silver steel. Which makes it, feel like steel is the hardness, and then mithril, and then silver is the colour. So yeah, good point. Although myth is grey, as we know from Mithrandir, in terms of actual Sindarin. So I don't know what, maybe grey and silver are synonymous in Elvish. Okay, and so we have that helmet's kind of... Okay, I guess let's quickly. Right, we've got about 10 minutes left of the stream. And what I'm doing there, by the way, if you hold Alt, when you're on the brush key, and then you hold Alt, you get the colour picker, which is infinitely useful. Because as I mentioned last stream, if you want a new colour, you have to, if you go up to there and then select your colour, then go back to brush. Every time you do that, it just gets incredibly. It takes so long. Also, what this is good up here as well, it's my recent colours. So if I want to get back to that gold, I'm back at the gold now. And there we go. So little things like that just save you. I mean, you might not, bother learning small things like that at the beginning, but once you, spend 6-7 hours on this a day, it adds up. Really adds up. Mr. Fredo18, can I ask why the unit cards are based compared to the actual unit, like in older Total War? Oh, is it? Sorry, let me read that again. Can I ask why the unit cards aren't based? Art. Sorry, God, pardon, I'm terrible. Can I ask why the unit cards are art based? Arts based. Gosh, I cannot read this. Sorry, single comment. This single comment has caused me incredible grief. Could I ask why the unit cards are arts based compared to the actual unit, like in the older Total War? Yeah, we're going with the Age of Charlemagne style cards, as far as I know. And I don't know. I didn't start these. I've only come to these and I've continued them. So this style was already kind of established. I've been pushing it in a slightly more realistic way. I don't know, I quite like them. I quite like the fact you have these sort of hand-drawn... I don't know, they seem nicer to me than having like little 3D renders of the figure. I think that's just us though. I think all modern Total Wars they still go for the 3D render as opposed to hand drawn. Alright. Teutonic Knight. I personally love Lasarnak. The most Lasarnak are cool, yeah. Oded saying, I think a slingshot will be actually pretty good and cheap weapon for a bandit with bad armour and weapons against an armoured knight. Well, you'd have to be very good at your aim. If you could aim for under his armpit or something, then yes, that would be excellent. But if you... Oh, that's why I wasn't working. Getting confused with layers. I was on the bottom layer there, and if you don't know how layers work, that layer's above it, so you can't see anything under it. Like that. Gosh, it looks a bit weird now. Dol Amroth and Honorian. Yes, so Lasarnak. We're getting Forlong the Fat is the Lord of Lasarnak, as far as I know. Are there Cohen asking, are there any future streams planned for this week, or is that unknown? I don't know. I'm not sure, to be honest. Leo is quite what's the word? I'm not sure. I can't remember the word. Gosh, he sort of doesn't. He just goes for it without planning. So you might just see that suddenly. Frusty might do streaming at the weekend. You never know. Frusty will probably. I don't know what Frusty has to work on actually. Oh yeah. I think Frusty might be doing some architecture, some more architecture, dwarven architecture, at the weekend. I was talking about that when we were getting in our camp. Okay, hopefully I'm back. I just got a thing from OBS saying it disconnected. And all your comments. Sorry, there's lots of discussion there about. Good Lord, sorry, I've been very behind again. Hey, William. William's my intern. Good to see you, man. And yeah, so hopefully, sorry, that disconnection was not too jarring for you. But yes, as I was saying, Frusty's Dwarven Architecture stream. Do look for that at the weekend, as far as I know. Right, I'm sort of rushing through this a bit. I'm going to have to call it a day in about 5 minutes. So yes, you won't see me finish these guys today, but another day I certainly will. And if you'd like to see these guys, you guys really wanted to see these, so I will make sure I do these guys on stream and not do them off camera. And I realise actually that the shield's not going to be this Erebor shield, is it? This is their shield here. So they have custom weapons. This is by Edred, our other concept artist, by the way. Give him some love as well. He doesn't stream, but do give him some love in the Discord. Let's give that some whiter fabric, make that slightly whiter. Like so. And apologies if I've missed the chat. I've sort of got really behind, so I can't really. Zarn 13, it looks quite nice. Referring to the unit cards, it's easier to see which unit you have when you have two similar ones. When it's 2D, I don't know. Yeah, I think that's understandable. Yeah, you see, with unit cards, you can choose to draw. You can choose to draw them in a way that makes them stand out and makes them individual. I think we found that with the Rohan cards, because Rohan, as cool as they are, they all look the same, and they all wear green. So that's in future when I do the Rohan cards. I've done a few, but I mean, not enough of Rohan has been completed to do any more. But there's, if you were to do them from 3D renders, I think they'd end up all looking really similar, and that'd be confusing from a gameplay perspective. So yeah, I think there's also a practical reason for doing them 2D, in my opinion. But they're also just fun to do. Right, lots of people talking there. Sorry if I missed your comment there. I'm just going to skip to the time. Skip to the most recent. Sorry. Am I a developer? Nimayan Empire asking, am I a developer? Yes, I am a developer. That's a very fancy sounding title. I'm just a 2D artist. 2D artist, I'm getting into 3D modelling. I'm going to do some architecture stuff. So I think that does make me a developer, yes. But I've never done any actual modding in terms of actually putting in files and all that technical stuff. Just could never do that. Cohen, we are all very grateful for their unpaid hard work. Yes, that's the unfortunate thing, is that it's a huge time commitment for nothing really, for nothing, no monetary gain. But there's the gain of getting your amazing feedback. So yeah. Night of Anonymous, thank you for the stream and answering questions. Really enjoyed it. Not a problem. Can I just check the stream? Sorry, hang on. Can I just check the stream's still working? Because I've got my OBS. Oh no, I think we're good. As far as I know, we are still golden. But actually, I'm going to round it off there anyway. I know we didn't finish the. I know we didn't finish these guys. But to everyone who missed at the beginning of the stream, we did our Baruch Guard in the beginning. So we've done these guys. These are the standard general bodyguard unit for Erebor. Another amazing model by Frusty. So these guys are finished. So we did that earlier, and we started the Mansion Reclaimers. these mithril clad beasts, and we will continue them in the next stream I do. Although actually the next stream I do, I think I'll give some love to Arnor, because they deserve it. In terms of concept art, Arnorian concept art, and then yes, I will come back to Harad concept art as well. That's, people do seem to like that one as well. But yes, unit cards. That's possibly the last thing that needs doing in terms of Erebor roster, which gives you an idea of how close we are to finishing them. Michael McGee, sorry. This is great. Love all the hard work everyone on the team is putting into the mod. It's incredible, right? I mean, I'm saying that not me, but the other guys that work on the mod. The quality is just, wow, it's mind-blowing. And yeah, it's a big time commitment. So it is impressive stuff. And to be honest, I didn't realise the amount of time you put into stuff like 3D modelling until I joined. I had no idea that it took that long. I just took it for granted, and that's something I really learnt really quickly when I joined. Gosh, it's almost been a year now. But yes, so that's something you many people aren't aware of. Is the time commitment is incredible. And right, yeah, that's all I'm going to be doing for today. I say that I'm still working, aren't I? Gosh, right, I'm going to keep working for a little bit. William 772. They look so good. I can finish my unit card tonight. Oh, thank you, William. Oh no, go away. Yeah, so yeah, William's my intern doing a. Oh, pen's bugged out again. Good lord, that is annoying. I'll have to check and fix that. Sorry. William is working on a Lothlorien unit card. Even though, yeah, Lothlorien work on the elves is unfortunately being paused at the moment just because Manu is busy on other things. But don't worry, they are coming. They have not been forgotten. Tamas, welcome. You've come right at the end, I'm afraid. So that's unfortunate, but I'm glad you managed to make it at least for a little bit. Thank you, Enzo Colmar. I'll hopefully see you next stream if I manage to drop by. Yeah, it'd be good to see you, Enzo. I'm glad you made this one. Teutonic Knight, I'm amazing. Thank you very much. And right, that is everything for today. So as I was covering before, we did our Beric Garb. We did work some partially on these guys. I might do some work off camera, but you'll see these guys next stream, hopefully. Or the next unit card stream I do anyway. But yes, until then, folks, do stay safe. We're close to 5k on our YouTube channel, so if you hit the bell, subscribe, then you'll get notified for our next streams, and we will get you our 5k special, I think, if that even happens, but maybe we might get you our 5k special, I should say. So make that happen, folks. That'd be cool. But again, thank you all for turning up. It's been really great, really, really good to see all your support and amazing comments. And yeah, until next time, stay safe, folks. Have fun with Rise of Mordor. And good night. And I've forgotten where. Oh, we're going there, aren't we? Gosh, terrible. Good night, folks.